Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to another class. Today we're looking at something very interesting, okay? It's a continuation of our last discussion, which is System Development Life Cycle Part 2. Now what are we talking about today? We are looking at the System Development Life Cycle Methodologies. What do we mean by System Development Life Cycle Methodologies? They are simply frameworks that guide the development process. You understand? We've talked about the structural approaches used in developing what? An information system. Now we are looking at the methodology. So when we talk about methodologies in Sdlc, what exactly are we talking about? We are looking at the frameworks that guide the development or process of an information or system in a system development life cycle. So Sdlc methodologies are just about frameworks. You understand? Those frameworks that guide the development process of an information system, and they actually vary in structure and flexibility. Please take note of that. Now, let's look at catering for different project needs. You understand? Let's look at this. So, in the Sdlc methodologies, the first thing we're talking about is the agile methodology. I love this so much. Why? It focuses on iterative development with continuous improvement. You understand? You keep developing. When you make mistakes, you keep developing, you keep improving, all right, on your framework. So we call that the agile methodology. As I said, it focuses on what we call the iterative development with continuous improvement. It emphasizes flexibility and rapid response to change. Do not forget that, okay? Using this framework, we have, what are these frameworks? I'm talking about Scrum, for example, and even the extreme program. I'm talking about the XP. Okay, so that's what the agile methodology is all about. It's a kind of framework that focuses on iterative development that has to do with continuous development. It emphasizes on flexibility and rapid response to change. Do not forget that. Using framework like we have the Scrum, we've heard of the Scrum Master, the Scrum, and also the extreme programming, which we call the XP. So that's for agile methodology. For the last time I said, agile methodology focuses on the iterative development, okay, with continuous improvement. It focuses on flexibility and not just that, rapid response to change. Please don't forget that. Using framework like the Scrum and the XP, otherwise known as the extreme programming. Okay, that takes us to the next Sdlc methodology known as the waterfall methodology. The waterfall methodology. It's a linear approach where each phase is completed before moving to the next phase. That is to say, you must ensure that the phase one of your framework is perfectly executed, is completely executed, is totally executed before you move to the next phase. You understand? I said the next phase I'm going to be talking about in the Sdlc methodology is the waterfall methodology. What does it do? I said it's a linear approach where each phase is completed before moving to the next phase. Okay, it is structured and predictable, but less adaptable to changes. So I cannot compare the waterfall methodology to the agile methodology. For the agile methodology, it's flexible, very flexible. You can easily adapt it to change compared to the waterfall methodology, which is less adaptable to change. Okay, so that takes us to the next phase. We've talked about two methodologies. All right, the first is agile methodology. The next that we talked about which is number 2, was the waterfall methodology. Now we're going to be talking about the next one, which is called the spiral methodology. Now, what does it do differently from the waterfall and the agile methodology? In this, it is not linear. All right, and it's not an iterative development phase. You understand? All right, it combines elements of waterfall and agile. All right, that means the features, some of the features of the first and the second methodology in terms of the agile and waterfall methodology, it combines them. It emphasizes the risk management and iterative development in these phases. That is to say, the spiral methodology combines the elements of waterfall and agile methodology. You understand? By emphasizing the risk management and iterative development. Can you see? In terms of the spiral, it combines elements of the waterfall methodology and the agile methodology, and it emphasizes the risk management and the iterative development. That is what the spiral methodology does. That takes us to the last methodology, which is known as the incremental methodology. Now, what does the incremental methodology do that is different from the spiral, the waterfall, and the agile? All right, it develops the system in increments. It increases. All right, with each increment building on the previous one, it keeps developing. It keeps increasing. Building from phase 1 it goes to 2, from 2 it goes to 3, just like it keeps increasing on what's that developed on. You understand? That is to say, in incremental methodology, it develops the system in increments. Please get that. Develop the system in what? In increments. With each increment building on the previous one. So you need the second increment to increase on the third increment. You need the third increment to increase on the fourth increment. That's for the incremental methodology. So these are what we call the Sdlc methodologies. I said when we talk about Sdlc methodologies, what do we mean? I told you earlier, I said they are frameworks that guide the developmental process of an information system. They are just frameworks. You understand, like the Scrum and the what and the extreme programming. That's the XP. I said there are 4 of this. We have about 4 different methodologies of system development lifecycle. Number 1 is the agile methodology. Number 2 is the waterfall methodology. Number 3 is the spiral methodology. And the final one, number 4, is the incremental methodology. That will take us to the benefits of system development lifecycle. Why are we discussing system development life? What is the benefit? Why do I need to know about Sdlc? Number 1 is it's a structured approach. Anything that is structured is planned. You understand? Of course, you get a good result. Now, Sdlc provides a systematic framework for developing systems, okay, ensuring that all phases are addressed and that the system meets the necessary requirement. That's the one structured approach. Number 2 is risk management. Of course, when risk comes, we want to be able to manage it effectively. It helps identify and mitigate risk early in the development process, reducing the likelihood of costly work. Yes. So if there's any risk or anything that will make you fail, Sdlc will help you detect it because it's structured. So you can correct it before it even happens. Okay, it's about prevention is better than what? Cure. That is the number 1 benefit of Sdlc. Prevention is better than cure. Number 3 is quality assurance. We've talked about number 1, structured approach. We've addressed number 2, risk management. Now we are looking at quality assurance. When we talk about quality assurance, when your goods or whatever you are producing is quality assured, of course, you will make good profits. Okay, your work will speak volume for you. It ensures that the system is thoroughly tested and validated before deployment, enhancing reliability and good or outstanding performance. Yes, so quality assurance, that's why Sdlc is very important. It ensures that the system is thoroughly tested and validated before deployment, enhancing reliability and performance. Number 4 is cost and time efficiency. Okay, of course, Sdlc saves you cost and saves you time. Alright, Sdlc methodology help manage resources effectively, ensuring projects are completed on time and within what? Budget. So these are the 4 I'm going to talk about, the benefits of system development lifecycle. Number 1, I talked about structured approach. Number 2, I talked about risk management. Number 3, I talked about quality assurance. And number 4, I talked about cost and time efficiency. Do not forget that. Alright, that will take us to the challenges of system development lifecycle. In terms of the challenges, number 1 is adaptability. You find it difficult to adapt to change. Okay, traditional methodologies like waterfall can struggle to rapid changes in project requirements. Yes, adaptability. People find it difficult to adapt to change. Call it technophobic attitude. Okay, adaptability. Traditional methodologies like waterfall can struggle with rapid changes in project requirements. Number 2 is complexity. Large projects may involve numerous stakeholders and complex systems, increasing the risk of delays or miscommunication. That's number 2. I said number 1 is adaptability, number 2 is complexity. We are looking at the challenges of system development or life cycle. I said large project may involve numerous stakeholders and complex systems, increasing the risk of delays or miscommunication. Please do not forget that. Then number 3 is security. Ensuring system security throughout the development process is crucial, but can be challenging, especially in agile environments. Okay, so we just talked about the challenges of system development life cycle. I said number 1 is adaptability, number 2 is complexity, number 3 is security. Okay, in terms of security, ensuring system security throughout the development process is important, but can be challenging. All right, especially in agile environment. All right, that will take us to the last phase of this topic, which is known as best practices for implementing Sdlc. What are the best practices for implementing Sdlc? Number 1 is to choose the right methodology. That's number 1. that is select an SDLC methodology that aligns with the project scope, complexity, and teamwork dynamics. Yes, pick the best. Whichever one you want to pick, ensure it is the best. So number one, you choose the right methodology. Number two is continuous feedback. This is very important. Feedback helps a lot. It encourage feedback from stakeholders throughout the development process to ensure the system meets user need. You must communicate, you must get feedback. You understand? So that's continuous feedback. It encourages feedback from stakeholders throughout the development process to ensure the system meets users what needs. Number three is documentation. Okay, maintain detailed documentation at each phase to facilitate future maintenance and updates. This is also very, very important. It helps you to document, and documentation helps you a lot. Okay, maintain detailed documentation at each phase to facilitate future maintenance and update. And finally, number four is what? Training and what? And support. It provides adequate training and support to users in the implementation phase to ensure smooth what? Adoption or usage. So these are the best practices for implementing system development lifecycle. I said number four is training and support. Provide adequate training and support to users during the implementation phase to ensure smooth adoption or usage. Okay, so we just talked about the best practices for implementing system development lifecycle, otherwise known as the Sdlc. I said number one, choose the right methodology. Number two, it helps in continuous feedback. Number three, documentation. And number four, training and support. I remain your facilitator, Brimo Excel. Okay, like and share this video. If you have any question, don't forget to leave it at the comment section. Thank you so much. See you in our next class. Bye-bye.